You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And this is Saturday, March the 18th, and you have indeed entered overtime. The march into college basketball madness has not been particularly kind to any of our regional teams. Iowa, Iowa State, Illinois, and of course today, Mizzou, by way of that 15-seed jinx by way of Princeton today. That said, how about a winner everyone here in the Midwest can embrace fully with some Southeast Iowa ties, a national champion no less. I'm talking, of course, about the Clark Pride. And yes, the Clark Pride did indeed get the job done tonight. Under the direction of former KHQA star Courtney Boyd, Clark is a national champion, winning over Thomas More, the defending national champs tonight. 63-52 was your final. Former Central Lee star Maya Mershman added 5 points to the cause tonight, including a long triple. It was a game that was close throughout. Clark looked like it was going to break away, up nearly double digits in the third quarter. Thomas More came all the way back, but Courtney Boyd's team finishes it off. I don't know if they have a beam to light in Dubuque, but if they do, Dubuque should certainly be lighting the beam tonight. National champions. Again, our best to Courtney Boyd and company. What a way to get the job done. National champions of the NIA, I should say, and also out of the Heart of America Conference. Well, Maya Mershman was, of course, our player of the year for KHQA on the girls' side back in the year 2020. In the 3 years since, that award has been monopolized by one single individual, arguably, if not one of the best, perhaps the very best player of basketball ever to hail from the Gem City. And tonight, she is going to make a bit of history as we wrap up KHQA Awards Week by paying homage to, potentially, the GOAT of all time. Her high school basketball career is now officially unmatched and unprecedented. The only three-time KHQA Player of the Year recipient, male or female, since we started bestowing the awards way back in the late 1990s. Moreover, within the incredibly rich tapestry of Tri-State girls basketball, it could be argued that Abby Schreck now stands above even the most luminous names to hit the hardwoods in our area in the last 3 decades. Duella Holiday, Jennifer Getz, Ruth Kipping, and yes, even fellow Lady Raider Jordan Frericks among our multi-time winners here. Though we view such debates as largely subjective exercises that serve to denigrate past greatness as prisoner of the moment flights of fancy. To wit, as great as Abby Schreck was, she did not win 3 straight state championships at 10th and Jackson, nor put the title in Titletown with a pair of trophy hoists, nor lead the smallest school in the state of Iowa to the top of the podium. Put simply, the Rushmore names in our region's basketball history are not and should not be diminished by anyone. What is utterly indisputable here is that Abby Schreck has now carved out a place among them and in the process become herself undiminishable. Perhaps that was already the case before this now complete final act she just authored. But I would suggest that it is a disservice to her continued growth arc to rush to take the long view of Abby's career here at the expense of celebrating her senior season unto itself. No, it did not end with a hoped-for repeat title, nor the Miss Illinois basketball crown her skills richly validated and deserved. But it too was inarguably great in netting Q&E 35 wins in 37 games, a year-long run atop the Illinois Class 2A state rankings, and ultimately a third-place state trophy to pair with the 2022 class championship. Individually, Abby powered that run with 340 total field goals, 796 scored points, 71 triples, and 380 rebounds en route to first-team All-State honors from both the Associated Press and the Illinois Coaches Association, including top vote-getter honors for the second straight year among the latter. Objectively, that is output that produced 21 points and 10 rebounds per game, despite opponents' best efforts to throw everything they had at Abby to stop her. Subjectively, it was a campaign that underscored that Abby might be the most efficient shooter-scorer we have ever seen in Tri-State basketball, at least from all three levels. Despite the significant number of mid-range and long-range shots taken in her 514 total attempts this season, Abby converted at a rate of 55.5% from the floor. To put an exclamation point on this assertion, consider her senior year three-point shot making. In an era when 37% efficiency from long range is considered excellent production, and anything above 40 in a make rate is elite and rarefied territory, Abby converted 71 of 138 three-point attempts, which works out to a 51.4% clip. I'll repeat, this high-volume scorer made better than half of her three-point shot attempts. We've discussed that weapon in our arsenal to the point of exhaustion over the last 4 years, and yet I'm still not sure people fully grasp that in the history of Tri-State outlier weapons, Abby's utter and unstoppable reliability getting buckets is as field-tipping as any individual asset we have ever seen around here. That it came at the expense of nothing else in her game, not her unselfish and perceptive passing, which netted better than 3 assists per game again this year, or her under-celebrated defensive dominance, both as a pass thief and fully underrated shot blocker and alterer, is certainly grounds for argument that Abby Schreck might well be the most impactful across-the-board weapon we have yet seen in Tri-State basketball. But insane numbers have long been a given with this particular kid. They do not necessarily speak to Abby's personal evolution as a more vocal and demonstrable leader in her senior year. I would point out that it is much easier in life to be a cold-blooded basketball mercenary as an individual than it is to tend to your team and make the various working parts of the scheme around you better at every turn. It would be disingenuous to suggest that Abby was surrounded at Q&D by anything less than exceptional talent in her tenure. Blair Eftink, after all, is a 2-time All-Stater. Sage Stratton is probably well on her way. The other underclassmen in the mix here are full of promise as well. Yet they were also driven on the floor this year in a way that they had not been previously from Abby, that was impossible to miss and more than a little bit outside of her past in-game demeanor. When leading by example silently wasn't enough anymore, Miss Schreck could be seen on more than a few occasions this year, working outside her comfort zone and channeling her inner Eric Orn. It was growth from a player who the casual fan might not have thought had any more evolutions to make. One more example of how Abby's fervent love of the game of basketball has always made this journey more than about innate talent. And therein lies the genesis of her greatness. Which brings us now to that aforementioned long view of Abby's career. She closes the book on her high school tenure as not only the Q&D career scoring leader, but as the most prolific point producer in Gem City history, surpassing Quincy High's aforementioned Ruth Kipping's mark of 2,287 points back on February the 4th. And in the process, perhaps setting an unattainable bar for the future to chase, which makes her now the new standard for Tri-State basketball excellence. But to only view Abby's incredible legacy through a round ball prism is to miss the point as well. She has earned all-state nods in both volleyball and softball, all while maintaining a perfect 4.0 GPA in the classroom and being the kind of tangible, accessible, right here in our community role model that the world needs far more of in this day and age. We have talked for 3 years now about the impact she has had on young girls in the Gem City who spend their days and nights in their driveways and backyards wanting to emulate Abby on the court, but hopefully now off of it as well. And she has changed the bar on how we will view girls basketball excellence writ large in this area for perhaps decades to come. It is from this vantage point a personal sports legacy rivaled only by Michaela Fecky's in Tri-State high school sports during my tenure here. And hopefully, much like the former Holy Trinity and later Nebraska volleyball great, Abby Schreck's college evolution at Mizzou extends her positive impact on young women in the world even more. So for the third and final time now, a hearty congratulations to Q&D's Abby Schreck, your 2023 and yes, 3-time Tri-State girls basketball player
Amazing to watch and just an absolute class act. And that wraps up at least the television portion of things with our basketball awards. Of course, we've got the all do or die teams coming your way, both girls and boys on the web. I felt a little guilty because I skipped out on you this week to go watch Mizzou and Sacramento, but actually I realized we were a week ahead of schedule with our television side of things, so I'm going to try to have things right on time as per usual. Girls do or die team will hit the web a week from tomorrow, boys sometime after that. Obviously it takes a little work to write those things down, but looking forward to giving you, all of you hardcore basketball fans, all the small details and fun we always provide for you on the web. I think we've been doing this now close to 30 years. Always great to sit down and write and celebrate the season that was, and what a season it was. We've got a little more basketball all-star version coming your way in this show in just a bit. But coming up next, we've got track and field indoors at Monmouth College. A big showing for one of the Quincy High superstars returning in the long and middle distances. That story straight ahead. I said good first block. Nice job. Let's go straight to the video out of the rejoin. So rejoin, Silver Streak Classic, then the scoreboard with those scores. Then I'll have the dunk contest, and then I'll have the All-Star game, and we'll be done with that block. Then the full screens, then two separate basketball tapes. Cool beans.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
Let's take you to track and field Silver Streak Last Chance Indoor Classic. You're looking at Macomb's Matthew Bright going 3.19 meters in the pole vault. Good for sixth place, getting his squad off to the jump start. How about this? This is Caden Barnes from Fort Madison. He scratched right here with this throw in the shot put, but finished with a 14.07. That was good for eighth place individually. Lane number 1, 60-meter hurdles, Riley Lisi. I hope that's pronounced correctly in lane 1 for Quincy High School. Fourth place in a time of 9.31. How about this? 4x2, Bowen Brockmiller. Last leg of the 4x2 for Quincy High. He, Mr. Homan, Mr. Hammers, and Mr. Kroupmeyer come in at 138.31. That is good for sixth place in the team showing. We'll get you to the Quincy High team scores in a second. Check out in the 400-meter, Max Reiner from Macomb doing what he does. Time of 54.01, chasing down fourth place to take third in this event. Good showing for him. The only championship from our area of the day comes right here in the mile. You're looking at this guy right there, Eric McClellan, straight out of the gate, running hard in this one. Time on the board was 5 minutes going into the final heat, and he is going to obliterate it as Mr. McClellan is going to run this meet in 4:30.63. Good for first place overall. His teammate Thomas Hess, by the way, ended up taking 5th in this event as well. Let's take you to the team scores on the day and tell you that we had some pretty decent showings out of the gate. Indoor track is its own different animal. We'll start on the boys' side today with Galesburg with the win. Quincy High School ends up finishing 9th. Macomb finishes 19th. Fort Madison powered by a 2nd place finish from Henry Wiseman in the 600-meter hurdles today. He was in the slower heat, but somehow blew everybody away. I don't think they had an accurate time on him. Ends up helping deliver his team 9 points there as Fort Madison finished 21st. On the girls' side of things, not quite the showing for our area as nobody breaks into the top 10, but still your leader on the girls' side in this one was Geneseo. Quincy High School finishes 13th on the day, Fort Madison just behind them, and Macomb in 21st place. Our friends at Central Illinois Sports had their annual All-Star game today at Vauchel Gymnasium. It always starts off with a slam dunk contest. What would Brian Deeker and company do? Well, we're going to start you off with the flow going. Aiden Nethery with that great mullet, throwing down hard right there with the back scratcher dunk. Then it's Michael Wilson. He would have been the odds-on favorite for me coming in, about to do the 360 thing, two-handed, the pride of Route Catholic, throwing down hard. How about Isaac Genenbacher? Didn't get to see this in-game from him this year, but you know he has this in the arsenal, I should say. Tomahawk one-handed dunk for him. Adam Musgrave doing some work as well in this one. The pride of Pittsfield on his home court, reverse throwdown right there. How about Ike getting a little help right here from Briar Wiskirchen as well? Off the glass, two-handed finish from Ike right there. That's good stuff. Musgrave going to bounce back with a little help of his own from Nolan Daniel. A backboard alley-oop finish. Aiden Nethery going to try to up the ante here with a hand behind the head throwdown right there. Yeah, let the mullet flow right there from Aiden Nethery. But the story in this one, Michael Wilson, the showstopper windmill to get the win in this one. He'd end up winning the thing. The pride of Jacksonville Route throwing down hard right here. Good stuff from him. He was your champion. Let's go to the game itself. And you know what? It was Team White versus Team Blue in this one. And we'll open up with some really good action, end-to-end fun. This is the kind of all-star game you want. Cole Beheimer gets his shot blocked, and Ike Genenbacher is there to hit the jumper to make up for it. Then Nolan Dietrich is going to add to the lead with a three-pointer coming right here. It's 7-0 Team White out of the gate. Nolan Daniel gets Team Blue. That was Nolan Dietrich. Nolan Daniel gets Team Blue on the board right here with a strong tape to the cup right there. Then it's Will Merwin time. The pride of Jacksonville Route letting fly from distance. He's really good. So too is this. Back and forth we'd go. Briar Wiskirchen left alone in the corner. Can't do that. Three-pointer for him. Then it's a route connection. Nolan Killian and Michael Wilson pick and roll, and that's going to result in a two-handed flush for Mr. Wilson right there. Nolan Killian going to add to the Team Blue lead right here with a crafty lay-in. He's got as much in the bag as anybody going to the rim. Blue not done right here. Tyson Brown out of West Central scores on the run-out opportunity. Blue leading by 6 at this point. Cole Beheimer, who would be the MVP of his team, answers between the legs to get to the cup. Yeah, he's flashy. Then it's Jackson Stratton. The Quincy Notre Dame guys getting into the mix, hitting a transition three. Team White right there, getting the job done. Check out the blind pass right here from Sam Carr to Drake Mudd as well. Little Brown County to Illini West action. Team White up 25-21 at this point. And then a little bit of, we got some Pleasant Hill vibes going with Mr. Duerr finishing strong in traffic to beat the horn. 29-28, Team White after one. Go to the second half. Luke Jacko out of West Hancock. The three is no good from him, but Alec Himes is there to put that back. A little bit later, Brian Wiskirchen on the alley-oop action to Sam Carr from half court to Team White. Good stuff right there. Team Blue going to work. Brian Deeker out in transition. Nolan Daniel going to steal the inbound pass, find Adam Musgrave at the other end, answering right back with the steal right here. And the mid-range jumper. Team Blue up 41-38. Oh, we are having some fun in this game. Really good show by Team Hall and company putting this thing on. Briar Wiskirchen getting Team White back to within one with the pull-up three right here. Then Cole Beheimer, as I mentioned, team MVP, dials in from long range. 46-41 in the end. Team White wins by 10, 111-101. Cole Beheimer was the Team White MVP. Gavin Artholoni had 15 points to lead Team Blue. So a great showing there. We had all kinds of fun all-star basketball this weekend. And again, a nice way to put a capper on things. And when we come back, we're going to put a capper on overtime. A couple of college signings we didn't get to bring you earlier this week. That is in 2.5 minutes. This one, great. If not, no biggie.
I could run it from the.
No, or goodly. I'm talking to Zach.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And making up for a little lost time this week, we're going to get you caught up on a couple of big college signings now at Rushville Industry. Miles Ackman has opted to extend his career as a distance specialist in track and cross country past his prep days and will continue to run the next 2 years for Southeastern Community College.
I really had no idea that I was going to run after high school, and it kind of hit me last season. I was like, I'm not ready to be finished. I want to keep going after high school. So I'm excited to get the chance and keep going at it. Track and cross country, it's really like no other sport that I've played. There's so much that goes into it, and I feel like all the athletes that I do compete with are really cool, and it's just, I love it, really. Everyone was very welcoming there. It's not too far from home. The coach and all the athletes there were really cool, and I really enjoyed talking with them. They have a great team, and I think I can really excel there. Absolutely, yeah. I plan on transferring to University of Iowa after. I'm not sure, but I do really want to go to the four-year university after that. Major in journalism, maybe run after, but I'm not completely sure.
Meanwhile, Quincy High's Shelby Westhouse is joining a cheerleading powerhouse at Lindenwood University next year. She was quite the accomplished flyer for the Blue Devils and has big dreams and plans for her stint in St. Charles.
So I was looking for a school that had NCAA cheer, and that's what they have. And also, I know a lot of people from the area, and one of my coaches cheers at Lindenwood. A lot of my coaches cheer at Lindenwood, or used to cheer at Lindenwood, so that pushed me towards it, and all the positive things that they said about it pushed me towards it more. I just think it's exciting to be able to compete in Daytona. That's like my dream, is to win college nationals. So to like be able to, they have 4 teams, so like to have so many like opportunities to win college nationals, that's what I've always wanted. So I'm in the business like program, but I'm not decided on a specific major, but I'm in the business program.
And our congratulations to Shelby and to Miles on their signings. We've got a bunch more of those coming your way in the next couple of weeks as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll probably bring you those on the weekends. Just kind of easier and more manageable to do it that way here with the Big Overtime Show. And again, we've got more overtime coming your way straight after this. Nice show, Lee. I'm gonna say goodbye at the end, depending upon how much time we have. I think it's probably gonna be like 80 seconds. Okay. Yeah, we should have plenty. Okay, sounds good.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. We are all out of time here, but with all of our basketball requirements now met, we can jump headlong into the spring sports season for real now. We've got a lot of good plans for you. Lots of really good games coming your way on Monday while the weather is still good. Got some feature stories planned for you from Tuesday through Friday when the weather doesn't look so good as well. By the way, among those, we're going to do Student Athlete of the Week with Claire Flynn from Brown County this week as well. Very deserving young lady who's done great work in 3 different sports for the Lady Hornets and helped elevate that program. So all kinds of goodies coming your way. And then hopefully next Saturday, really good weather for a full spring type overtime right here. Looking forward to getting out to the Diamond, to some track and field, some soccer, getting out of the gym and taking advantage. So we're all out of time. We'll see you right back here next Saturday for Overtime.